Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, it looks like we're going to be starting off September on a really high and very hot note, as we see a collaboration with yet another very well-known and very renowned, I should say, Mecha series back from the early thousands. This time around with Gear Fighter Dendoh. Now this collaboration also doesn't look like it's going to be anything massive, so in contrast of earlier collaborations where we'll often see maybe like 3 or 4 or even upwards of like 5 or 6 models, this so far only seems like we may only be getting 3, maybe 4 tops if they decide to add a surprise one somewhere down the line over the course of the month of September. But aside from that, there are a handful of other really big goodies and announcements that were touched on over the course of this week's coverage. So let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting week 1 of the Gear Fighter Dendoh collaboration with Medarot S. Now, this week's gacha banners actually are going to be fairly light, as we're only getting, well, one actually, and that is the introduction of GFD-01 Gear Ogre, with a mostly new kit of Minus Chain, Break Destroy, Jet Thunder, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Frontal, which actually applies a very solid damage plus effect when the enemy isn't heating. I did actually mistype that here, my apologies, it is Frontal. But it honestly has a lot of very unique effects that we're already kind of no stranger to already, such as Break Destroy, basically just being destroyed but with a gravity attribute, and Jet Thunder basically just being Jet Blow, which is damage plus the farther away the target, but being able to also stun the enemy on top of that. So if you add Frontal on top of that, which gives it a damage plus if they are not attacked while in heating phase, it does mean that Gear Ogre is going to be very frontally and forwardly aggressive anytime he's on the field. And pairing Minus Chain on top of that honestly makes it even more aggressive, which means for every negative ailment he inflicts, his damage goes up every time that he goes to use it. But we also have a number of big surprises as well, such as naturally we are getting a collaboration Super Invasion. Nothing really special with that as well. Just mostly go in with your best team for free, 10 rubies and an extra nameplate banner. But with the introduction of Gear Ogre, we also have a couple familiar faces that will be going alongside him as boosted rates. Those two models are OPS-0 Ophiuchus with a kit of Field Control, Thunder, Sword, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Blowby, who can also meta change into a true Serpentine Hydra type form with a kit of Hypercrept, Blowaway, Suction, Multi-Legs, and Abscond. Then we also have TRS-0 Taurus with Desperate, Double Virus, Biped Legs, and Dead or Alive, who also can meta change into a Zodiac Bull type form with a kit of Fighter Core, Blowaway, Pile, Flight Legs, and Charge Fight. So, honestly, between these two models, it's honestly going to be tying pretty heavily and most likely the reason that we're seeing these two boosted is because Medarot Navi's anniversary is coming up here in the next couple weeks. So that is very likely a good reason to see a bunch of returnees from Navi getting boosted rates. But they are also some very solid models all the same. Ophiuchus mostly for crowd control between Blowaway and Suction with their meta change form, and Taurus mostly for turn skipping with Virus and going into forwardly aggressive melee combat. So really can't go wrong either direction based on who you choose to go after. But it is also worth noting that both Ophiuchus and Taurus, as you see here, are meta change type models, which means you will either get the entire model all at once or not at all. However, in contrast, Gear Ogre, the collaboration model, is not a meta change model. So that means that he's going to be just a little easier to collect, even as just mixed parts in my personal opinion, when the banners do officially drop. Now, for Fierce Battles we have going on this week, it's going to be a very mixed utility and very high variety week between the 6 models that we have going on here for the first week of September. Those models are starting us up on this top row is PCP-0 War Headley with Optic Guard, Double Napalm, Tank Legs, and Heavy Arms. FSK-0 Jinban Fairy with Charge Plant, Double Claw, Flight Legs, and Snow type. And RAY-04 Arago Star with Triple Beam, Wield Legs, and Excel. On the bottom row, we have KAP-01 Kappa Lord with Beam, Double Anti-Sea, Sea Legs, and Forester. MDK0 Hemadacker with Repair, Double Wave, Sea Legs, and Adapter, and JEL0 Perudun Jelly with Triple Missile, Tank Legs, and Fortress. So like I said, it's a very heavy and mixed utility and variety week as well, with a lot of different parts being available and pretty readily easily usable between the 6 of them. War Headley in particular for tank legs with heavy arms for any of your heavy weights or your high HP part users. Jinban Fairy ultimately is going to be MVP of the week, though primarily on the grounds that Flight Legs and Snow type, which is a terrain that almost nothing really has true mastery on, which makes it a very difficult terrain to balance if you're not bringing somebody with Adapter or Field Control to cancel out that disadvantage. But having Flight Legs means that not only is she already going to be fairly speedy, but also have S rank on a terrain that everyone else would honestly be struggling on. Arigo Star honestly will be okay, I suppose, for wheeled legs and Excel if you need the high speed. Kappa Lord mostly for anti-sea coverage, and Sea Legs with Forester if you do need them. Hemadacker will kind of be an early beginner-friendly kind of model with Sea Legs and Adapter, and Perudun Jelly mostly for gunpowder on any kind of part in the AoE for Silent Leader, flushing out Silent Leader, and Tank Legs with some extra damage reduction on top of that. But ultimately, like I said, Jinban Fairy will ultimately be the MVP of the week, but it never hurts to go after the other 5, just for the sake of having them in the library more than anything else. Now for the event itself, as we start delving into what the collaboration itself details, we will also be getting 3 collaboration Metarotters to go live with the collaboration for the first wave. Those are, in order as you see here, Icky will be getting a leg resist boost by 125% until attacked. Now, this, on one hand, means, yes, you will be able to tank the next incoming hit just a little bit easier than you would before. But let's think outside the box a little bit. Consider leg abilities such as Assault, or Pure Heart, or Bomber, which actually get extra damage relative to resist stat. Now you might be thinking if you manage to tie some of those together, especially given the fact that this lasts until attacked. So if you have a good shielder to cover them, you could really take good advantage of this. Koji will offer a times 1.3 damage boost to damage and a 60% boost to your critical hit rate at the cost of debuffing your resist stats by 40%. So this means ultimately that you will be going Glass Cannon essentially over the course of your next turn when this buff officially does activate. And then lastly, Arika will also boost the CG gain upon its successful dodge or graze by 40%. So this means that if you're already using a metal such as, say, Speed Nature, which gives you 20% off the top for a dodge or graze, this extra CG will be really, really useful for any kind of charge sustains that need to be able to dodge as well to keep themselves in the fight, such as, say, Flyers or Sea Leg types. However, Arika will also boost your evade by 50% until attacked, so this means that not only are you more likely to dodge or graze, but also synergize extremely easy with that extra CG bonus, so something else to really keep in mind with that double 1-2 whammy that this buff applies. The event itself actually is going to be probably one of the most generous we've seen in a while when it comes to a collaboration, in my personal opinion. This first wave of the collaboration events, which will be a score attack, so Pure Sets and Courage, will be featuring limited time rewards such as GFD0 Gear Dendoh, with a kit of Giga Gatling, Power Sword, Power Hammer, Biped Legs, and Unshakable. So this is going to be the first collaboration we've had in a rather hot minute, in my personal opinion, that actually gives us a pretty solid and synergetic freebie model, something that we have not seen for a while, so that's going to be very, very exciting. We also have an opportunity to earn the Matador medal, which has a mastery in melee, healing, and defense, and biped legs and biped masteries and leg masteries, and biped wield and flight. We can also earn limited profile banners featuring scenes from Gear Fighter Dendoh, and of course limited gacha tickets for the month of September, and PvP tickets on top of that. Like I said, the event will be score attacks, so Pure Sets and Courage when you go to accomplish and farm for it. Just consult the previous slides as well for any of the highlights you will need when putting a team together. Now, of course, much like collaboration in the past, we also get some extra skins that are going live with the collaboration as well. This time around, we have 2 paid skins, so far anyway. The first of which, as you see, is a paid skin for the regular form of Gear Dendoh, and the second is for Gear Ogre, or rather an unmasked Gear Ogre, I guess you could call it. Honestly, the skins look really nice. I regretfully do not have a lot of knowledge on the Gear Fighter Dendoh series as a whole. This is actually my first time hearing about it, but still very exciting all the same to see what these are bringing, and of course, with the extra models and the extra customization that they would bring to the table. These skin bonuses honestly don't go for a whole lot in the in-game app store, so if you do feel led to go after them, you will not only get the skin, but a handful of rubies as well. But bear in mind as a warning that buying the skin does not give you the model. You will have to collect the model from the gacha, or in Gear Dendoh's case, the event first, before you can actually use it. Or the skin just sits in your library and looks pretty until you actually have them. Now, as far as September PvP is concerned, we do have our first look at the bots that are getting limited skins for this month as well. We are getting 2 reruns and 2 new ones, as you see here. The first of which is for a Leaves-style Navi Camu, most likely for the change in seasons now that we're officially past the ugly heat side and heat wave side of summer, which I am more than thankful on in my personal opinion. And we also can earn an Osmanthus-style Cradle, so naturally both of those models will also be going up for boosted rates over the course of the month as well. We can also earn the Anzudo-style Kabuto Benimaru skin, as you see here, which colors him in the same style and livery as Anzudo Beetle. And we also can earn the Cameo Stag-style Kuwagata Bison in the skin shop. So it is honestly nice to see those skins get a rerun, and I love seeing all the new skins that are being added over the months as well. I honestly can never grow tired of those, and I'm looking forward to seeing those officially in-game as well. Now, for Meta Survivor, it is going to be relatively quiet on that front since we got Spanag, Manog, and Zero Suicide this last week officially joining the game. This week is mostly just going to be an event reset and refresh as far as the banners are concerned and any events coinciding. So nothing really exciting this week specifically, but based on what I've heard so far of gameplay for those that have collected either, they are pretty nasty as far as any team comps that they are put on. So if you do play Meta Survivor and you are looking for some heavy DPS, I think you really won't have to look too much farther than Zero Suicide or Spanag Manog. Moving on to community-based stuff, as always, we are continually looking for translators to assist us with any of our current ongoing projects or endeavors. This includes the Medarot 4 translation or any manga translations that are currently up and down with activity. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese or have some time on your hands, or if you know somebody that might be in the above-mentioned categories and skill sets, we would love to hear from you and we appreciate any help that you could offer. Alternatively, if you do not know anybody nor have any talent of your own to offer to a translation cause, there is a link to Variant's crowdfunding in the comments below where you can donate to the cause and we can commission some of those extra lines of text to be translated on a crowdfunding. So this will make life just a little easier on the translator's side to mostly just delegate to typesetting and cleaning up to make all the text boxes look nice. So I'm very excited for that. Feel free to reach out to me or join our Discord as well, and we'll get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what still needs done or what has been done. Now, aside from that, there is also one really big piece of announcement that for those that have been out of the loop or missed my initial announcement, I am starting a brand new video series here on the MNN that I will be maintaining alongside my battle breakdowns, my tutorials, and of course my regular weekly coverage. And that is a community call video breakdown. Basically, what this is there may be some models that players may have felt that I may have either unfairly graded or deserve a second look based on outside circumstances, such as, say, a mechanic getting changed, a buff or a nerf, the model getting a permanent stat boost or debuff, or whatever the case may be, and you feel that it either deserves another grade or you feel my initial grade of them wasn't fair. This is your chance to put it to the test and call me on it. So this is your chance to put a community request up that I will regrade as a community call and give them a second look. Now, something to note on this as well is that I will not be actively looking at this one, and this one will be entirely on you guys to grade and fill up a library of. So if you'd like to see more models get regraded, call me on them in those comments, and I want to see that comment section filled up, and I want to see your reasons why you think they're deserving of a regrade. So definitely hit me up in those comments below, or even reach out to me, or even better, tag me in the Metabots Discord server as well and say, hey, Kura, you should look over this bot again as a community call, and here's why. And I will look at it. I guarantee and I promise you I will look at it. So hit me up in any of those formats and mediums, and let's fill up that new this new playlist of community calls with models that you think deserve a second look. That's one last thing before I do wrap us up here. As a friendly reminder, I am always open for commission for art stuff, so if you are looking for any live 2D models ready to rig, 3D models with the work, standard 2D art as well, I am more than happy to communicate and coordinate something with you. That being said, I will do just about anything here, as you see, minus anything NSFW or Gore, so just something to keep in mind. My DMs on Discord, Twitter, and Blue Sky are always open for this very reason, so do not hesitate to reach out to me, and we can most certainly try to make something happen. Now, in light of me working on putting my new computer together and getting everything moved, I do want to try to get back officially into streaming properly, and I know I still owe one of the Summer Ori Meta contest winners personalized art. I am going to try to get to that sometime over this week, but I will try to give you guys at least a couple days notice before that does go up, so you guys can prepare for it. Having to put together a brand new computer after the solid state failure of my old one was not something I anticipated for, so things have been kind of bumped back as far as timetables are concerned and schedules, but I'm hoping I could try to get back into something a little more consistent going forward. All that being said, though, as always, it is always a pleasure to have you with us here on the MNN, since that does cover basically everything for this week's episode. So if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that I do also run and manage, and currently is swelling over 50,000 members and still growing. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you're going to hear it before it goes anywhere else on the net. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter, Discord, Blue Sky, or whatever your social media platform of choice is at Isagami Kura. So if you'd like to reach out to me either for questions, feedback, suggestions, if you want to coordinate, commission me for some art, or if you'd like to coordinate a collaboration, which is either having you here on the MNN as a guest host, or me stopping in on your channel as well, I would love to coordinate something with you. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. Lastly, do also give my friends Mono Zero and Sadant Boiro a follow as well on Twitter, which do a lot of Medarot content as well. Mono does a lot of fantastic and wonderful soft shade art for Medarots or any stuff that's going live over the course of the week, and Voito does a lot of Medarot related coverage on their channel as well on YouTube, so definitely give them a follow to show your support. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do, and until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.